100 years ago, in 1925, Cambridge Bibles, the oldest Bible publisher still around today, produced this, the King James Version Cameo. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone and welcome to another video where today we are going to be talking about Cambridge Bibles and the 100th anniversary of their most popular King James Version Bible still in production to this very day. This is the Cameo, the King James Version Cameo. Now, it comes in a variety of different covers. You can get ones with and without the Apocrypha, and they've just released a 100th anniversary celebration edition, which now features a full yap. It's edge-lined, it looks very premium. However, there is a thing that has been niggling at me for a little while, and I want to take this opportunity on the anniversary of the Cameo to talk about it a little bit and to sort of get my feelings out there, get them known. I know I've probably expressed some of them before on the channel, but I think it's a good opportunity to explore some of my thoughts and to also get your guys' input on things. Now, this is the Cameo. It's a handheld, small form factor Bible, and it is incredibly readable. It's reproduced from the old way of printing things, where they would put little tiny letters backwards, made out of metal, and they would run ink across and they'd press it onto the page. And that's how books used to be printed before the modern printing press and things like that. So these pages here aren't produced with the same methods. It's all done with, modern printing and things like that. But when you have a look at it, and I'll pull that up to the camera there, so you guys can actually see. So you get that sort of old-timey look. You get to see that sort of that classic sort of look of a Bible. And you'll notice as well that the words of Jesus are in red in this edition, which is, it's uncommon nowadays. It's common with the New King James Version. King James, it varies. Now, there are a lot of people who prefer to simply just have black letters. I know that the Trinitarian Bible Society produces Bibles exclusively with black letters. And also as well, if you look at specifically the ESV tends not to produce Bibles with red letters. The more premium options as well tend not to have red letters. There's a few different reasons for this. One of them is that it's quite difficult to get red letters right. Either they are too dark and they look too much like black, so it's hard to distinguish, or they look too pink and it's too light. It's difficult to get it sort of in the middle. Cambridge, I think, does a very good job of their red letters. It could be a little darker, but that's just a personal preference of mine. But I do like the fact that this does have the center column references down the middle, as you can see there. There you go. This is a wonderful production of the King James. Obviously, the King James, the infamous King James, but also as well, its impact on modern English today is profound, and it's something that you cannot escape. Whether you are a believer or not, the King James Bible had a substantial impact on the English language as we know it today. And, yes, it might be a little hard at times to understand a lot of the words in the King James and to, sort of, what's the word, to see what the modern equivalents were. There are editions out there that do have updated versions, so they remove the these and the thous and replace it with modern language. They also include modern punctuation. For instance, in the King James Version, you may not know this, but there's no quotation marks for when someone is speaking. It'll have, and Jesus said, comma, and then there'll be a capital letter. There's no quotation marks, which we use today. If you pick up a New American Standard Bible or New International Version, etc., you'll see quotation marks because that is a modern standard. However, that wasn't the standard back in the day of the King James. So you do get these King James sort of variants that do include up-to-date modern punctuation. You can also get, I know I've shown this before on the channel, is you can get things like this, which is put out by the Trinitarian Bible Society for free. You can get it as a free PDF. And it'll help you understand the words that are in the King James Bible, because a lot of them are, shall we say, obsolete. Is that the right word to use? Maybe not, but they're more difficult to understand and more difficult to wrap your head around what they could mean in today's world, especially because we find that languages over time, they start off complicated and they tend to simplify. And so what the Trinitarian Bible Society has done, and also as well what they include in, for instance, the Westminster Reference Bible, is they include little asterisks, and in the cross-references they include the asterisk and tells you what the word actually means, and the modern equivalent today. So that's what it sort of looks like in the middle of the pages there. So you can see sort of different things like rampart and simple, shock as well, like different sort of words, what they mean in today's language, so it can help you understand a little bit better. Now, the one sort of gripe I have at the moment, and this is across all Bible publishers, okay? So Bible publishers, if you are listening to this, please take note. I encourage you, please do more editions that include the option to have the Apocrypha or the Deuterocanonicals, however you want to call them. Please include more. The only editions of the King James Version that I can find, after doing quite a bit of searching in terms of premium options, is an edition put out by Thomas Nelson, which is the King James Version center column reference with Apocrypha. There are two issues there. Number one, the Apocrypha that's included has spelling mistakes in some of the words in the apocryphal section. Also, as well, we have the lack of cross-references in the Apocrypha section. That to me just screams either laziness or unwillingness, like they were reluctant to do the edition anyway. Maybe they were sort of testing the waters, that sort of thing. Now, the other edition, you can get the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible with Apocrypha. That does include cross-references. However, that is single column, sort of more like a reader's Bible. It does include chapters and verse numbers and cross-references off to the side, but some people don't like single column Bibles. I don't particularly like them. I think it's not me. I prefer the two column layout, and I also prefer to have references in the center. Maybe it just scratches an itch, I don't know. But one thing that is really cool about this edition is that within the Apocrypha section, it has cross-references to other places in the Apocrypha and also in the Old and New Testament. It all cross-references. And I really, 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 really want to see more publishers put out more editions with the Apocrypha. Like people like Scholar Bibles, they do a version, some versions with the Apocrypha, specifically the ESV and the New Revised Standard Version as well, or the revised version as well. That's a great start. Could do more. They could release a King James version with the Apocrypha. I did a search earlier on their website, and they didn't have any. I could only find the ones for the ESV available on the website. Also, as well, we need more premium editions of Bibles with the Apocrypha. Like, come on, guys. I mean, one of my pride and joys that I actually have, and I'll just grab this for you now, is a Cambridge Bible in my favorite Bible translation, personally. Sorry if I'm bungling the microphone. Is this one here. This is the New King James Version, and this is called the Topaz. It has a beautiful, gorgeous layout, lovely print font. As you can see here, if I just angle this, it's a bit big, but it's got the cross references off to the side, 2-column layout, which is fine. That's lovely. Deal with it. Lovely ribbons. Also, as well, it has the words of Jesus in red as well, which you can see here. Let me put that up to the camera so you can see the differences there. There you go. So not overly red, but it's still red. It looks a bit washed out on the camera. It is definitely a red on the page, and it's different from the black, which makes it, you know, readable and things. So this is well worn, well thumbed. It even has a concordance in the back. I believe it's a concordance. I'll double check that for you now. Or it might be a concordance. It has a concordance in the back. And I just want to be able to see more. Like, I understand that the New King James Version, they never translated the Apocrypha or Deuterocanon when they did the New King James Version. I understand that. But, you know, there's nothing really stopping people from doing perhaps a collaborative project between Crossway, who did translate the apocryphal books, which you can find if you go to Cambridge. They do the diadem in the ESV, which has the Apocrypha in it. It is an option you can purchase with cross-references as well. Perhaps have the ESV version of the Apocrypha sandwiched in between the Old and New Testaments of the New King James. There are different ways around this. You could even put the King James Apocrypha in between the New King James Old and New Testaments. There are different varieties and different options able for people to read the edition that they want to, no matter what denomination they are. Whether they're Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, non-denominational, whatever you want to label yourself as. If you believe that the books should be avoided at all costs, then you have options for that. If you believe that the books are good for history but are not inspired, there are options for that, so you can read it with that. If you believe that they are scripture and they should be included in Bibles, then yes, they should be included. One option that I've found, which is a sort of, if you want a more modern translation, which also has the apocryphal Deuterocanon books, is to get yourself one of these, which is the Catholic Bible Press RSV 2CE. Now this Bible here, I'll just put that up to the camera so you can see a little bit there, RSV 2CE, Catholic Bible Press. This actually intersperses the books that would be included in the Apocrypha, or what Catholics would label as the Deuterocanon, or Orthodox as well, in amongst the books of the Old Testament, where they were originally placed. Obviously, there's that option for you. This doesn't have red letters, which is a shame. I'd love an option to have red letters. I am a red letter person. I like to see when Christ is speaking, so I can study those words with a little bit more reverence, or to really sort of dig into what Christ is saying at what point. I mean, obviously there are points which are disputed, for instance, within John 3, as to when Christ stopped speaking. There are sort of general consensuses, there are fringe views, etc. You're not going to get it exactly right, but you can do a sort of pretty good job. You can even put a note in the cross references section at the bottom saying between verses X and Y is debated as to whether Jesus is actually saying these words, but for this edition we put them in red, or what have you. There are ways around this. It annoys me that there are so few Bibles out there with no option to have a printing with the Apocrypha within it. There is things like the World English Bible, which you can get on software like Logos. You can look it up on Bible Gateway, Bible Hub as well. They have an edition which has the apocryphal books in there, the Deuterocanon books in there. I think it's called their ecumenical edition, and they are in between the Old and New Testament, and they do a really good job, but there's lack of printing of that, and the printing that they do have, for some reason, has very weird pictures in there, sort of clip art images. I don't really jive with that. This is sort of more of a ranty video. I do apologize for sort of the rantiness of my video today, but it is a time where we can take stock and appreciate what we already have been given within the Cameo, especially on its 100-year anniversary. Cambridge, if you are watching, please do more editions of the King James Version with the Apocrypha. For instance, they have editions like the Turquoise or the Clarion or the Concord, which could really do with an option to have the Apocrypha, an option for people to have the Apocrypha. You already have the translation of the King James in the King James Apocrypha. You already have that, okay, because I'm holding it in my hand. So please put it into more editions of your Bibles. And also, please, as well, it's not really very fair for those who do want the Apocrypha in their Bibles to not give them a more premium binding option. The ones that don't include the Cameo, that is, the ones that don't include the Apocrypha, Deuterochronicles, whatever you want to call them, those that don't have that have goatskin leather and edge lining that's properly bound with leathers and things like that, and it's much more premium. This is the calfskin version, but it's stuck down with glue, which is incredibly disappointing. My New King James from Cambridge is edge lined, and it's fantastic. Helps it lay flat. It will hold up for years to come, and I really just want to see more. I want to see more from Cambridge. I want to see more of their King James line with the Apocrypha as an option for people. So you can get the Bible that is 100% right for you. Yes, I'm starting to sound a little bit like Tim Wildsmith, if you know who that is. But the point is, I want to see more editions of the Bible with an option for people to have with the, Bible translations should have that option. Because there are some people, particularly in the Anglican spheres, that do want to have Bibles with the Apocrypha in there. Especially Catholics and Orthodox, they want to read a translation that they have the what's the word? They want to have these books in there for whether they see it as scripture, whether they see it good for study or education about history, etc. Whatever it is, it's so important that we don't let this slip. Because honestly, there is a lot of wisdom within these books that have been, in my view, unfairly exiled out of Bibles. And I really do wish that we could have more editions with these books included as a standard. A new edition of the NIV comes out, for instance, and you have that edition with or without, and it's up to you. Sure, the publisher may do more limited runs of the ones including these books, but that's fine. You know, that I would be happy to pay that price, as it were. And if you're looking for more of my ranty thoughts about the state of Orthodox Bibles, then I did a video a couple months ago, which is a bit more of a rant talking about the Orthodox Study Bible. So please do give that a watch if you're interested. But I'm going to leave it there because I think that basically encompasses everything that I really wanted to say. So happy 100 years to the Cambridge Cameo. What a delightful edition it is. And long may it continue being in print. I think it's a little unfair that the new centenary edition didn't include the edition having an Apocrypha version, but here we are. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the current state of Bibles with the inclusion or exclusion of the Apocrypha? Do let me know. I'm curious to hear your viewpoint, no matter where you land on the issue. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you like the video, please do make sure to smack that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and ring the notification bell, because it keeps you up to date with all of my videos. It helps me out and it's completely free. And yeah, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. God bless. And I will see you in the next video. Adios.